Hey guys, I was listening to this podcast by the Bible Project people, and I wanted to talk about one of their latest ones because they get something really profoundly wrong. You should probably read the story yourself. It's when David is in the wilderness and there's the rich merchant. He's gonna have a feast, and David has been protecting the merchant and his goods. He's in the wilderness. He's, I guess killing like wild animals, making sure there's no thieves and bandits or whatever they would have had. And the rich merchant is having a feast, a celebration, probably celebrating himself and his money and wealth and animals and slaves and wives, whatever. And David is like, well, we've been doing this good thing for you. Can you do this good thing for us? Repay good with good. And the rich merchant rejects David and tells him to, get lost. Like, who are you to me? I don't care about you. This is my goods, my wealth. I'm the one who deserves this, not you. Get lost. There are so many things that this fat pig of a merchant gets wrong, that he deserves death. And when the Bible Project people talk about this, they don't understand it. They look at David and think he's like a jilted woman because he was rejected by the rich merchant. He doesn't get to be part of this feast with his men that he's keeping, well disciplined and things like that. But David knows better than these Bible Project people. David knows that man deserves death because he's repaying good with evil. And when you listen to these guys talk, giggling like school children.
He's okay if Saul doesn't recognize him as king and treat him with honor. That doesn't seem to bother him to his core. He can wait that one out.
Yeah, it is very realistic that humans are complex. And David could be the kind of guy, he gets it so much that his enemy who wants him dead, he could have patience and generosity and do the right thing in these really high-stake moments. But that same person can get this violent grudge in his heart when someone didn't let him in on their party.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What a small thing.
Yes, yeah, it's good.
No, I'm sure he's very hungry. And he's been working hard to befriend these guys. So he has a story in his head of like being invited in, and it's not coming true. But it's such a small thing at the end of the day. And he lets it drive him nuts. He's going to go be violent. And so there's something he hasn't learned, is what you're saying.
Something he hasn't learned yet.
You have to recognize the great error that they're doing in the reading of this part of Scripture. They aren't looking for God's righteousness. They're looking at David and in fact looking down at him. And David is somebody who is confirmed king by God himself. There's Christ, who is the King of Kings, and then there is somebody like David, who is a king. The Bible Project people are not confirmed kings before God. And they're looking down at David. And they're looking at him like he's some kind of a jilted woman whose feelings were hurt because he was rejected. No, David was somebody who was looking in the wilderness, learning difficult lessons about righteousness, for example. And he recognized that, this man deserves to die. That's not a small thing. In fact, God kills him. So how can you, as somebody who is teaching from the Bible, say, it was a small thing that angered David? It was an injustice. Everything that rich merchant had came from God. Everything. And he's proudly celebrating it while denying David, who was doing God's will when he was doing those good things in the wilderness. David's good was repaid by evil. That calls for justice, vengeance. What David was gonna do was a mistake, however. And that is because it's not his place to judge somebody like that. These are the kind of things you understand when you're looking for God's righteousness, which is what Christ commanded you to do. And that's something you should definitely do when you're reading Scripture. It was not David's place to avenge the injustice of it, because then the rich merchant could have, on the day of judgment, on the day of resurrection, the last resurrection, could have pointed at David and said, well, you just wanted my stuff, my sheep, right? That's why it is God who judges people like him. Because God is the one who provided the wealth that that rich merchant had, that he worshipped. God doesn't want to be part of your little party. He just recognizes that you sinned, you loved your sin, you were denying a servant of God like David, who had done good by you. You deserve judgment. That is what David was looking at. His mistake was, well, I can't be the one who does it. And then God does it. It was not a small thing, it was something that was deserving of death. The Bible Project people didn't get it. They read the story in the spirit of error. And they are like this because, like virtually everybody, pretty much everybody living today, they have not gone through a real wilderness tribulation. And that's what the dragon will do when he's thrown down from heaven because no place was found for him. He will come here, he will deceive the people, and you must remain alert, because even the chosen will be misled by him. That's what David went through in the wilderness. Those are real hard lessons he learned with God. And this was one of them.